NIRSA. I'm Pam Watts, the Executive Director for NIRSA. I'm going to be joined here in a few minutes by our President, David Davenport. This is our third monthly Instagram Live conversation, and today we want to talk about the core skills of campus recreation professionals, some of those transferable skills that you use as you advance in the field of campus rec, or whether you take the skills you've built in campus rec into another area of higher ed or even careers off campus. David's actually taking care of his mental and physical health today, as well as giving back to the foundation. He's going to be coming to us live from a golf course near his university in Tennessee. So that'll be kind of a fun difference today. Well, we made it to Friday, the end of another good week. I know we've been talking to a lot of members, and the semester schools, I've got a couple weeks under their belt of how things are going, and we're hearing a lot of good positive stories about that. And then the quarter schools, are anxiously getting ready to open probably next week or the week after. So there's a lot of good energy going on right now. All that planning is coming to life. You're seeing what's working, what's not, pivoting where you need to, as always. I hope pivot doesn't become a four-letter word in our industry, because it is really positive at the end of the day. I see David's joined us. I'm just trying to get him connected here. So let me just take a sec. All right, well, we'll let David get set, and then we'll dive into our topic for today. I'm getting a little better at Instagram Live, so if you have, I'm watching the comments. If you have some questions today as we're talking, go ahead and type them in the comment section, and we'll see if we can pick up on a couple of those. So, David, I was telling everyone we wanted to talk about the core skills of campus rec. We have a lot of professionals reflecting right now on what's that core purpose of campus rec, what are the core skills on my team that we can apply to all the new and different things going on these days. And then even for some who maybe been laid off or furloughed or having to contemplate careers, outside of campus rec for now, really doing that reflection on what are my core skills. So as you think about this profession, you're a longtime campus rec professional. What do you think some of the core skills of this industry are?
So first of all, can you hear me okay?
Yep, you're great.
Okay. So first and foremost, one of the things that I've come across talking to our nursing members and just working with my own staff is some of our transferable skills that we get to offer. And a lot of them is coming into play right now, mostly with the being able to just communicate effectively, and also being able just to have that ability to pivot. And I heard you say we've been doing a lot of pivoting. Yeah. Just being able to pivot and do something different. So that programming skills of being able to put opportunities together to invite other people in for that mental wellness and that physical fitness standpoint. But one of the things that my undergrads have taught me about is that the conflict resolution with all this Black Lives Matter and civil unrest going on, being able to deal with and abolish conflict has been very important for them. So much that a group of my students approached me this week about coming together with a conflict resolution team, because it's been very important for them and how they deal with the customers, how they're dealing with each other, how they're dealing with their friends. So that was something that my undergrads taught me as far as one of the transferable skills that's been beneficial for them.
Yeah, I think that that engagement piece, I think at some level campus rec professionals do that so naturally that it's easy to forget that that's actually a skill that not everyone has, right? That here you all, in all your magic ways, bring in 70 to 80% of the student body to a place. Right? There's no requirement to come in the rec center, right? You got to study somewhere, you got to eat somewhere, you got to sleep somewhere. There's no requirement to come into the rec center, and yet the majority of the student body does every year. And so, how that can be applied to other positions on campus, even careers, off campus, that engagement is really a core skill that I think a lot of industries are desperate to figure out and desperate to have on their teams. Several years ago, the NIRSA student leader, Kimmy Sterner, worked with us to write an article, and
she had worked in campus rec as an undergrad and then a grad student, and she was, a leader in NIRSA through the NIRSA student leader position and got a professional position, and then ultimately decided to leave the field. And she, wrote a great article on the transferable skills that she found, even going into work for, I think, one of the public health services sector. I'm glad you mentioned conflict resolution as well, because I think, like you said, with Black Lives Matter and the civil unrest going on, I think heading into an election year in a very divided country, no matter what way the election goes, half the country is going to be happy and half the country is going to be upset. And those conversations, just like we saw in the 2016 election and the 2018 midterms, those conversations are going to be happening on campus, and whether you're physically on campus or you're virtually on campus. So it's a good time to remind ourselves of what those skill sets are, how you facilitate healthy conversation. The Assembly did a great job a couple years ago putting together some resources on that. I think I'm going to pull those back out and post them and connect later today, just so everyone can quickly find them. Those are really good.
One of the conflict resolution, Pam, that I wanted to mention is not even dealing with the civil unrest. We've had some conflict just on this pandemic, and people saying it's a conspiracy, and they're trying to enforce the policies that we have in place to keep everybody safe, and we've found more conflict in that from certain individuals, particularly older individuals that come in our facilities. So our younger staff, who are students working in the front line, they're having to deal with that on a regular basis. So the fact to de-escalate to somebody and just explain to them why we have policies in place and why it's there, it's helped them a lot. So it's not just about the civil unrest standpoint, but also dealing with the enforcing the new COVID issues, the COVID policies.
Yeah, and what a great experience, right? To have to enforce something to someone that's older than you, or maybe holds a higher position of authority than you on campus, right? That's a great skill to have for life. I wanted to mention too, we are planning another virtual career week in early November. And, this isn't just for those currently looking for a job. This is really about career development. There's a great committee working on this. They've got 3 tracks coming. There's a new and young professionals track, really talking about planning a career in campus recreation. It'll be appropriate for graduate assistants as well. There's a mid-level pros track, really thinking about, how and what you need to prep to go to that next level. And again, right now, whether that's in campus rec, outside of campus rec. David, I know you've been working with a group of folks who are really ready for that director role and are putting themselves out there for those positions and trying to do some coaching around that. What are you finding in that space?
I think I heard you said about the coaching group that we're trying to work with those who are preparing to be a director. And one of the common topics that keep coming up is strategic planning and budget management. And, a couple of individuals, when they finish their interview, they're preparing for an interview, they're getting these questions about strategic planning. And I said, we don't get that at the coordinator level and at the assistant director level. And that's what they're asking for more training on, is that strategic planning. Because usually when you do departmental strategic planning, it's usually the directors or the high level individuals and more strategic planning training.
Yeah, and budgets too, like you said. There'll be a 3rd track at Career Week focused on employers navigating, this virtual world. And, y'all have been doing virtual initial interviews for a while, right? The Skype interviews and all of that. But now many campuses find themselves having to go all the way through hiring in a virtual space, right? Not necessarily getting to bring people on campus, not necessarily getting to meet them personally in advance. So there'll be some good content around how to navigate that, some lessons learned from some folks who've been through the process. We're also at the end of the month on September 29th going to have a Ideas in Motion roundtable for underemployed recreation staff. So this is everyone from maybe you've been laid off, maybe you've been furloughed, maybe you're just seeing that, the career advancement opportunities that were going to be available to you are no longer available to you. But we want to start building community around those who, find themselves either out of work or without the opportunities they once thought they had. I think there's a great network to build there. There's a lot of good information to share. So we'll do this initial roundtable Chris Daw, who many of you know, as well as Lauren Brown, who many of you know, are going to host this first one. And we'll see what that community of professionals needs and wants in terms of connection, in terms of, resources, in terms of even learning and education. So I'm pretty excited about that coming later this month. Well, it's been another week. What are you hearing from members these days around how they're doing, how they're faring?
Right now individuals are just seeking for just that, it's going to be all right. So that's what they want to hear, and that's what we all need to hear. It's going to be okay. We're going to get through this, and that seems to ease a lot of minds of just saying those simple words and acknowledging the fact that we're in a crappy place right now, but we're going to be okay. We just got to keep fighting through it.
Yeah.
And I just realized my battery's going to die, so I'm going to try to plug in right fast.
Wrap this up. Yeah, we mostly wanted to talk about those transferable skills. I really appreciate, your perspectives on that, and let folks know about a couple opportunities. It's great to see you out golfing and doing the Foundation Golf to Give.
Yep.
Yeah, but big shout out to Mike Wyden, who was the lead in putting that program together on behalf of the foundation. Of course, they were so disappointed after we had to cancel the golf tournament, alongside the Phoenix conference. But this is just a great way, maybe before the weather turns bad in your area, to, get out. It's a great socially distanced sport. Have some fun, be in nature, right? Hopefully hit a few straight. How you playing today?
No, either good or straight. I can't have both. It's one or the other. But one of the things we're putting, and I'm out here with some former students, is, it's actually mental campus support. So just taking a day off just to take a break, getting some faculty and staff together and some alumni students, and we just impromptu get together to say, hey, we need to do something on campus.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot going on. Our football team is traveling, so it was just a perfect opportunity for some students. And I'm playing with 3 alumni students right now, and then we got some other faculty and staff sitting around all over the place, and we just did a mental well-being right now. So.
Well, kudos to Austin P and the leadership there for recognizing that and seizing the opportunity. To the extent this is going to be a long haul, right? It's not about the big breaks. It's going to be about the smaller breaks along the way, and finding a lot of peace and joy in those moments where you can. So I'm glad to see you doing it. I'm glad that you were willing to step off the course and still do this Instagram Live with me today. Thanks so much.
I tell you how bad I'm playing. I'm okay to start.
So it's best ball and it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. And we're I have my 3 buddies are carrying me right now, so I'm just along for the ride. So we're having a good time. So
all right. Well, tell them thanks on behalf of NIRSA for sharing you for a few minutes.
Well, good. Appreciate you taking the time and doing this, and I hope all our members are staying safe and keeping the head up. We'll get through this, and our next time around, when I come on around, I've invited one of our pro staff from across the country, from the member network, and a student leader from across the country in the member network. So hopefully we'll have a good, engaging conversation moving forward. So
we'll look forward to October.
Good to see everybody, and I will talk to you next time.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.